Hello, my friends, and welcome to Risk-Based Policies 30-Day Challenge. Today we are talking about storage and transport. So, how do you move stuff around, and do you keep it safe? When you move it around, you drop it somewhere, and then you move it around some more. So, now, your risks, there are lots of different risks we could talk about in storage and transport. And I want to address the food safety risk first because, of course, this is a food safety 30-day challenge, but there are business risks as well. So your food safety risk on storage and transport pretty much depends on how good are your refrigerators if you have refrigerated stuff, all right? And then how's your relationship with your transportation company? i.e., do you run your own trucks or do you use common carriers? Hell, do you use Uber Eats? Like, what's your process? Okay. Let's take these, let's talk about storage quickly. Storage is a lot of times, actually, we cover this under a good manufacturing practice, and I actually have a whole SOP about this on receiving, refrigeration, and storage, because that's how I tie these together. The Global Markets Program does it a little differently, but they're all, you'll see on the website how they're all tied together. And if you are not part of that program, if you guys are not in getting your documents together for an audit, you got to DM me and I will get you in the program. So anyways, so we look at these common, so we look at the storage areas, okay? And then the question is do you have cold storage or not cold storage? Do you have things protected by packaging in storage or not protected in packaging? So when you do your risk analysis, all of that stuff bleeds into it. If you're a slaughterhouse, do you have multiple species in there? That's a risk, right? There's a cross-contamination risk between cattle and pigs that I, deal with fairly often with folks as to whether or not they have a Shiga toxin E. coli risk in their pigs. Okay. So you've got to take a look at your storage practices. You also have to take a look at how things come in and out of storage. So you have two things coming in and out of storage, people and product. And when we look at transport, I want you to think of transport as any transport. Okay. Does your pallet jack increase your risk of cross-contamination? I have been in places where the answer is yes, okay, and that's a really big deal. So anytime your product is transported, so I'm not talking about like conveyor belt transportation, but once it like drops off the conveyor belt, it goes into a tote and moves, I'm talking about that sort of transportation, not just transport to and from your whole facility, transportation within your facility. Okay, because when we start looking at this stuff, there is ample opportunity for cross-contamination, like allergen cross-contamination. Your allergens have to be stored below your non-allergens. Have you gone back into your storeroom and taken a look at that? When you transport, do you transport non-allergens first and allergens second? And then if you do that, how are you storing things, right? Because if you transport them first, they're going to end up, the non-allergens first, they're going to end up on the bottom. But you got to transport them first to prevent cross-contamination if it's a potential issue, okay? So you've got to maintain like hygienic requirements for your transportation vehicles, internal transportation vehicles, and external transportation vehicles. Write them down. What are they? Check them out. Normally we check out our internal transportation vehicles during like pre-op sanitation. And then, of course, we check out like your regular transport vehicles during shipping and receiving. So this truly is on transport a place where you miss more by not looking than by not knowing. So take a look, okay? Give yourself a look and then really analyze your risk. Your risk around your common carriers is significantly lower. I mean, they won't transport open product, so there's almost no risk. If you run your own trucks, the transport risk is pretty much dependent on how exposed your product is. All right, there you go, guys. I hope that was super helpful, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Thanks. Have a great day.